Hey guys, Trisha Midget here doing a video on a customer's amoeba. So this is the CQB stubby type. If you want to call it the stubby M4, you can. I'm not exactly sure what model it is. I know the honey badger is the AM013, and the one that I have is the AM019, and it's more of a full size with a full size rail. This is the stubby, I guess you could call it. That's what we'll refer it as. It's an M4, of course, and these retail for only about $220. I wish it was like 120. 220. About to say 120. I wish. $220 roughly, depends on where you buy it, which is a really good price considering there's a lot of stuff, good stuff on the inside on these ARES amoebas. As far as externals, it's a little bland, but I'll go ahead and go over it. So he actually has an amplifier on the outside. This thing is super loud, and I'm not sure what brand it is, but it's very loud. There's like a 4-inch plastic rail. We've got the amoeba plastic body, upper and lower, just your basic, functioning dust cover, charging handle, fake bolt lock, extended mag catch, safe semi-full auto, very clicky selector switch, monolithic rail. This is my brother's T1. He has a reflex sight, he has a flashlight, and then he might have a grip, and then he has this. So he does have a reflex sight. I think he has a protector for it, I assume. There's a buffer tube, metal buffer tube that's actually loose. I just noticed that. I'll need to tighten that. So, see that? Yeah, it's loose. It's just one screw down the buffer tube, so I'll tighten that. And then your basic amoeba stock, okay? Just like all the rest, there's plenty of room back there. And then your basic amoeba pistol grip. So internally, I have put a little swivel pad in the cylinder head, just a small one, not a big one, to help with AOE and also to make it a little quieter. Although it has an amp on it, so it's not really meant to be quiet. It's a little bit of a shock reduction for the gearbox shell. There is also 8mm SHS bushings because the ARES bushings are crap. That's one bad thing about these internally. There's the amoeba metal rack piston, which is super solid. We have Siege Tech 10-to-1 gears and a Golden Eagle Blue motor. Hop-up wise, go ahead and pop the pin out. Got a tiny brass barrel, rotary hop-up, and a Lonex 50-degree bucking. With this short of a barrel, this launch is .2 is about 160 feet, which is pretty incredible considering the length of the barrel is literally a pistol barrel. It shoots 320 FPS with a .2. I have about an M100 spring in here, and that's why. So it's low stress like mine. My amoeba shoots 330. Still gets good range though. The BBs fly a little slow, but for indoor, I mean, it's good enough. If he does want to up the spring, I do have the stock spring, and the stock spring shoots about 380 to 390. So if he wants to put the old one back in there, he could. But it cycles a little quicker with the spring that's in here, so I'd recommend leaving this one. I think that's it. Again, the buffer tube is really wobbly. So, don't know how it got that wobbly. Battery is 11.1, 1000 milliamp. He uses bigger batteries. I think he actually uses 25 to 50C, so that'll shoot a little bit nicer. I asked him if he has Dean's batteries. If he has Dean's batteries or if he's going to buy them, I'm going to wire the gun to Dean's because that'll help with efficiency a little bit. And heat, because the Tamiya does heat up. So, I also shortened the trigger pull, and that's pretty much it. That's all that I can think of that I did. It shoots about 30 rounds a second with a 11.1. It's about 28 with this battery, so with a 20 to 40 or 25 to 50C like he uses, should be about 30. Trigger response is not as good as my amoeba, and I'm honestly not sure why. I thought that Brill maybe sent me 14-to-1s instead of 10-to-1s, and I sent him pictures, and he said, nope, you ordered the right ones, they're 10-to-1s, so I don't think that's true. I think these are 14-to-1s. Honestly, I think he sent me 14-to-1s. They're hard to tell, honestly, especially without opening my amoeba. If I open my 10-to-1 amoeba and looked, and big bet they're different. I'm pretty sure that these are 14-to-1s, but he said nope, they're 10-to-1s. I took it apart and sent pictures, wasted my time doing that, and don't know. He says they're 10-to-1s, so I guess I'll have to believe him. But the rate of fire is off compared to what mine's shooting. Also, the trigger response is way off. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, with this battery, with the identical battery, with the exact battery that I'm using, compared to this, it shoots about 3 rounds a second slower. This does, and the trigger response is way less. And again, I think it's because it's 14-to-1s, not 10-to-1s. But he told me they're 10-to-1s, so because this shoots more along the lines of what Dan's shot. His shot about 25 a second with an 11-to-1, and had okay trigger response because he had 14-to-1s in his. I put 14-to-1s in his. But whatever. So this is the AMOBEA mag. This is what Cody uses. So we're gonna go ahead and shoot it. Again, super loud. I'll take it off. It's semi-auto only indoors anyway, so that's normally what he'd be using. That's why I said something about, that's why I emailed Brill and I was like, I don't think these are 14 or 10-to-1s, because in semi it doesn't shoot very well. Or it shoots okay, but it doesn't shoot as good as mine. Because, semi-autos only allowed indoors, and I figured, to get the best trigger response, we'll do 10-to-1s in here. And I guess these are 10-to-1s. As you can see, it actually sounds pretty nice. Also, I did put the ZCI high torque that's in my AMOBEA and put it in here, and there was no change. The Golden Eagle Blue motor is literally identical to the ZCI high torque, so it's not in the motor. So again, I think it's the ratio of the gears. And it's not the spring either because they're both M100s. Put this back on. The feeding is okay. It's not the best. If he wants to shoot full auto on this, I'd probably recommend a flash mag. That would probably work best. But my GMP mag, we'll shoot it with the GMP mag and test it. And then it shoots a little bit better with the GMP mag. I'm using G&G .2s. Very different when there's no ammo in there. As you can see, when it started to dry fire, it sounded totally different. So again, G&G .2s, again, probably 170, 160 feet range for such a tiny barrel. That's pretty dang good. And it's thanks to the Lonex bucking, because out of the box, the ARES buckings do not pop BBs very well. So, but it's super loud. Try full auto. Perfect feeding with this mag. You can hear that on that tree down there. That's probably about 80 feet, 70 feet to the tree, and it's just peppering the tree. Yeah, that's nice. So the rate of fire on this thing is pretty good. It's again about 27 a second. With this battery, it should be about 29. With his battery at 25 to 50C, it should be about 29. So basically 30. So rate of fire is really nice. Trigger response just isn't, it's not there. Again, I think it's because it's 14-to-1s instead of 10-to-1s. I honestly still am convinced that it's 14-to-1s instead of 10-to-1s, but there's no way to say for sure unless I took my AMOBEA apart and took this apart, and I'm just not going to do that. If they are 14-to-1s and not 10-to-1s, that's not on me. That's on Brill because he sent them to me and he told me that they were 10-to-1s. So. If you spam it with your finger, you can get it shooting quick. Much quicker than stock. So as you can see there, it's quick enough. Finishing on full. Empty. Empty mag. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty much all I have to say. I am going to be upgrading Cody's Hellbreaker here soon. He's got a Hellbreaker, and it needs some serious... This needs serious tightening. Not bad. Just not as quick as my Amoeba. So again, it might go to Dean's. Depends on what battery he uses. I'll have to ask him. I don't know if he has any Dean's batteries or not, or if he wants to buy some. But again, I'm going to be upgrading his Hellbreaker. I'm going to be doing the motor, the gears, probably the hop up, the bucking in particular, and a few other things here and there just to get that gun to shoot right at 400 FPS with a .2. He said he was going to run .3s in it. That's going to be his outdoor gun because it's quite long. It's a standard length M4, but it's a good outdoor gun, not really the best for indoors. And then this is his indoor gun, so this is totally done. If I'd recommend any upgrades, honestly, I wouldn't recommend any. It would just be, I wish they were 10-to-1s, but maybe they are, maybe they're not. There's no way for me to tell because with Siege Tech gears, it's so much harder to tell what ratio they are because the ratio is not between the sector and the spur, it's between the spur and the bevel, and I have only used one 10-to-1 set, or one Siege Tech spur and bevel in my lifetime. I have one in my Amoeba, so I'm not an expert with them. I'm looking at them and saying, oh, yep, those are 10-to-1s. I honestly cannot tell, so that's why I've sent him pictures. And he tells me they're 10-to-1s, but they don't perform like 10-to-1s. But it might just be something else. I don't know if the MOSFET on the newer Amoebas aren't as good, because I've heard some people say that ARES, their quality controls, going downhill. So I don't know. Maybe it's the MOSFET resistance. Maybe there's more resistance because they're not made very well anymore. But my Amoeba is a 2-year-old one, and the MOSFET is insane on it. It's just so responsive. But I don't think it's in the MOSFET. I do think these are 14-to-1s, not 10-to-1s. But that's my hypothesis. I can't prove that they're 10-to-1s except for the fact that an identical setup with identical parts, this one shoots lower rate of fire, and trigger response is a lot less. So other than that, proof by shooting them side by side, I can't prove that it's 14-to-1s. So, but shoots pretty nice as you can see. So I think he'll be happy. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for some more. See you guys later.